The president early on, during the fog of biological war, when the information coming in was disparate and at times even contradictory, he made two determinations. Number one, that he was going to reassure the American people, that he was going to be the kind of leader who convinces the people that we can persevere through this epidemiological Pearl Harbor. But then secondly, he also took decisive action. He made the command decision to harness the full power of the federal government.
Think of what would have happened if he'd have gone out and said, "This is awful. We should all be afraid. We don't have a plan." It would have been a run on the banks. It would have been a run on the hospitals. It would have been a run on the grocery stores. As it was already hard to get some of the things we needed in the grocery stores. So the president was calm and steady in a time of unrest and uncertainty. And I think history will look back on him well as how he handled this pandemic.
January 31st, that was basically the starting gun to fight this virus that came in from the Chinese Communist Party. Let's not forget where this started. And that was a signal from this president that this is a serious, serious matter. He's taking down flights from China. He was called a xenophobe and a racist by Joe Biden.
No, he wasn't.
Later had to apologize.
No, he wasn't. And he didn't apologize.
Yeah, we'll do the fact check on that. I watched that.
I just did.
All right, well, you're wrong.
What you didn't mention is that Americans very much trust President Trump to help us recover with the economy. And Americans also believe that President Trump is the one who's best positioned to lead us to a vaccine, something that President Trump, I believe, will deliver this calendar year and a return to normal in 2021. But, George, one other thing I got to point out that we didn't hear from in the intro, there is a reason why Bernie Sanders and other Democrats are so concerned about Joe Biden and the lack of enthusiasm with his candidacy. Last night, I was with President Trump in northern Nevada, and what we saw were thousands of enthusiastic people. And listen to this, George, over 20% of the people who are at that event didn't even vote in 2016. That's why our internal numbers show us actually winning Nevada, feel very well positioned. It's another blue state we're going to flip this year.
You can say all these things. The results speak for themselves. You compare us to the rest of the Western world, and we have failed. Is there any way to look at this and compare to the Western world and say that we've done better than other countries?
I will just tell you right now, if Democrats were in charge, if Joe Biden had his way, go look at his statements in January when he said the president was being xenophobic and hysterical for closing the borders to China. No. He was running for president and he had the same data and the same information. And while Democrats were trying to impeach this president was taking decisive action. So I think it's disgusting to take a crisis in our country and try and lay it at the feet of the president.
I think, unfortunately, corporate media has been relatively successful at pushing out a myth that the president mishandled the virus. And when I look at, for instance, these revelations from Woodward, I think if you look at them in the context of the totality of actions taken by this president, it actually reveals an exemplary record of crisis management.
You're cherry picking.
No, I'm not cherry picking. On February 7th, he knew that it was in the air, that it was five times deadlier than the flu.
No,
5 times deadlier. That's on the tape.
He expressed that to Woodward, but at the same time,
2 weeks later, he's saying that the flu is deadlier than the coronavirus.
Jake,
Why wasn't he honest?
You just don't want to listen, Jake.